Welcome to Heart to Heart with Cristina Briseno. It's been a minute since my last podcast, but I am honored to have my guest and really amazing great friend, Kimberly Rangell.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor to have you. And,
thank you.
You know, share some amazing knowledge and wisdom. And
well, I hope so.
You're going to drop. So.
Okay, I hope so.
So I just want to share your bio so they know a little bit more about you. Cool. Kimberly Rangell is a seasonal professional with an impressive 44-year career in the real estate mortgage industry. Wow, incredible. Beginning her journey at just 18 years old, she was witnessed and adapted to the industry's remarkable transformation, establishing herself as a true expert in mortgage and loans. As a top 1% producer at her last 3 companies, Kimberly takes immense pride in her professional achievements, having served thousands of families with dedication and excellence. Beyond her professional success, Kimberly cherishes her role as a mother of 3 extraordinary children and a grandmother of 2 beautiful, remarkable grandchildren. Congratulations.
Yes.
You're adorable. Happily married, again, congratulations, so much to talk about, and thriving at 63 years old. She considers herself to be in the prime of her life. With unwavering energy, Kimberly leads her team with passion and is committed to providing national advice that empowers her clients to build generational wealth for their families. Her legacy is one of impact, both in her industry and in the lives of those she serves. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing. You've done you've had an incredible, amazing career. Right?
You know, when you say 44 years, and so July will be 45 years, and I'm like, I've been doing this longer than most people have been alive that I represent today. Yeah, so it's like, damn, like, it's something to hear it out loud.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a lot to say, especially right now with like the way the market is and all the changes and where we started, like fax machines. At least for me, it was fax machines. I mean, they're right. Like,
you know, when I started, interest rates were 21%. Crazy. There was no such thing as a fax machine. There was no such thing as a computer. Yeah. You didn't use computers. Everything was handwritten, and now there's AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, talk about like going from one extreme to the other. So yes, I have witnessed many changes in our industry, and I'm excited about all of the ones that have come, and I'm not one of those like, God, it was better back then. Like, I love the way it is, and I love embracing business as it is today, and don't intend to stop doing it for a while still. You know what I mean? It's like,
keep going
it's
with
a privilege.
What's new, right?
It's a privilege. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, and we'll deep dive in. Okay, so what's a simple joy or daily ritual that always makes you smile?
So I start my day pretty much the same way every day. I wake up and I pray, I meditate, and I just spend time with God and thank Him for the life that I have and all of my blessings. And that starts the tone of my day, you know, and on the days that I miss that, the day hits different, you know, so I'm very mindful of spending that time with myself first, and then from there, I'm a workaholic, you know, I just jump into the day. I am fortunate enough to get my workouts in now in the middle of the day, you know, so being an empty nester, like, life is different. You know, life is different now, but I love my career, you know what I mean? So like, I love starting that way, and I let the day, you know, I set my intention for the day, and then whatever shows up, like, I'm ready and available for that too. So
and you navigate through like challenges, of course, like we're problem solvers, right?
Yes.
So you just navigate and like just
you know, I get annoyed at myself when I get annoyed at something like a problem, because I'm like, oh my God, right? You know, but it's a blessing to have problems, right? Or challenges in our business. No challenges, no business, right? So
Nice. Okay, so what's one word that your closest friends would use to describe who you are?
Generous. I think well, I know that the people that know me near and dear would say that about me, and then probably like dependable, you know what I mean? Like, I can be counted on, you know, and you know, I mean, you know that I don't, for as long as we've known each other, like, you know, can count all my friends on one hand and have fingers left over. Like I don't collect people. I'm not that type of person. Like I'm not that sociable, ironically.
Right.
But so
you aren't, and you are.
Yes. But I love my tribe. I love my people, and you know, like you see the same, like they're the same set of people for the past 20 years, and so I'm that to everybody. Like I show up that way to everybody, but for those that I'm closest to, like I'm a ride or die. Like that's, you know,
100%.
And I pride myself on being that.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, how has your family influenced your values, your faith, or spiritual growth? Because I know that you've like,
you know, my you know, I come from a family like most Hispanics, like, you know, like born and raised Catholic and very traditional. And my spiritual journey has been an expansive one. And I think, ironically, that like now I get to be an example, and I'm an example in my family with respect to my spirituality, on our spirituality. My family in of itself, like I've been a single mom, right? My kids, 3 kids, and, you know, Emilio, and then twins, right? And they have always been my why. They have always been no need to think about why I'm doing anything, you know what I mean? And my drive has definitely come from not just taking care of my kids, but like having them be responsible for living a life they love. Like, what does that look like, right? Because that's my commitment to myself. And I think I have been successful in being that example of like in that pursuit of living a life that you love. Not like that you ever arrive or you ever get there, but like it's a pursuit and it's a journey, you know? And so my family is my drive, and my relationship with God is above all of that, because there isn't anything, like I don't have anything that He didn't give me, right? And so it starts there. And in living my life the way that I live my life, it's my prayer, my hope that I'm an example, not just to my children, but to everybody that like I come in contact with, because it's definitely transformed my heart, and you know what I mean? And in that area of my life, I'm extremely grateful for the transformation that I've experienced and that I continue to experience on a daily basis.
And it's changed from what I've known. I mean, I've known you for, gosh,
since you were like 18,
almost 30,
right?
30 years, right?
Yeah.
Close to 30 years. Yeah, since I was 18 years old. You know, our relationship, we'll get into that a little bit later, but like the last 2 years, I can say is like you've like, well, the last 5 years, and we'll get into that too, but the last 2 years with your spirituality, I mean, you've grown so much. Like the person that you, I mean, and the goal is to always be evolving, right? We never stay the same, because it's, you know, you just stagnant or whatever, but like you go in different phases of your life, right? When they say, well, she's different, but it's been so positive and so like, in so many ways, like you just said, you're always like, you just give, like when you walk in the door, it's like, oh my gosh, she's here. And you always have so much wisdom and so much, if you're having a bad day, like, okay, it's just, we're not gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have time for that. You know, it comes off a different way, but you know, just who you're becoming still, you know, even at your age, not that it's just a number or whatever, but you know, the wisdom that you put out there all the time, like you just don't care. You just live free spirit in who you are. Like I really admire that of you.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you. You know, I think that God transformed your heart, like if you allow Him to, right? And I allowed Him to, and that relationship has taken and been first and foremost above everything else in my journey, right? In my walk as it began 2 years ago. And like not for like the 3rd or 4th time in my life, you know what I mean? Not like I didn't ever have a belief, I just didn't have a relationship. And one of the things He's taught me the most is like loving from your heart, right? And being generous. And I've always been a generous person, but there's one thing about like giving, just giving to give, right? Kind of like, here you go, be on your way, like I go, right? And wanting to make a difference, like from your heart. Right. And that's where I feel extremely blessed, because I genuinely from my heart am committed to making a difference wherever I can in a positive manner. You know, as you age, if I can say anything to anybody, you know, that in your teens, your 20s, your 30s, is that time is so precious. Time is so precious. And when you look at who you're being and what you're leaving behind as your own personal legacy, if you're not present to that, then that time is just wasted. It's like it's literally wasted. And when you're in your 60s, you can look back and be like, oh, if. And no, there, like, it is what it is.
Yeah, you can't
the
go
past
back.
is the past, right? And
can't look back.
And all of those past experiences have completely contributed to who I am today and my life, right? And I love my life. Like it's a curated, cultivated life. You know what I mean? And I'm very peaceful in it. And I think peace is what my relationship with God has given me more than anything. You know, like it's a tranquility. There is something about not being afraid. You know what I mean? And that as a forefront and the anchor in my life has just lifted this burden. Like, you know, it's given me the courage to make big decisions I've made in my life.
Right.
Like that, you know, like a lot of people aren't even present to. They think that I'm the same and my life is just moving like it was 5 years ago, and nothing could be further from the truth.
You're completely
you know what I mean?
different person from who you were 5 years ago.
And
Huge
but it's
transformation.
and that I will, you know, like I definitely give myself a pat in the back because it has been an ongoing pursuit in my life. It wasn't just like I do the work. You know what I mean? Like I'm committed to doing the work and being responsible for the life that I say I want. And I hold myself accountable. And I get it wrong more times than I get it right. But it's that passionate pursuit of it that has given me, like I'm grateful to have that fire burning in me. You know what I mean?
Like
yes, because that. I'm like,
so
I don't. What does one do? Like, what does one do if they don't have that? Exactly. Yes, right? Yes. Like I can say this is my second act. This is my second act. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then we, a couple years, 5 years ago. 5 years ago. 6 years ago. We had our first event right before the pandemic, and we're trying to think of the name, and you came up with. Create the life that you desire.
Right.
And fast forward, like in March will be 6 years from that time, and you have created that life that you desire. You know, and you really can, like you said, if you do the work, which you have, or anyone, like whoever, if you want to do the work, you have to do the work. Not if you want, you have to, if you want something to change, if you want to get further in life, if whatever it is that your desires are, you can create that.
Absolutely. And it's not just about wanting it, like, and getting that it's not just about wanting it, and because everybody wants it if it was just about wanting it. But that's one of the things that, I struggle with, like today, not struggle with, but like I definitely notice, and will not lie, I'm a little, judgmental of the wanting fast satisfaction without doing the work. Right. You know what I mean? Like the instant gratification, right? Instant gratification. I just like, I want, me, I. And that is the benefit of looking backwards. Right. And I think that's why I'm so committed to like having these conversations and sharing whatever I can share. Because especially as a woman, you know what I mean? Like I've been 10, I've been 20, I've been 30, I've been 40, I've been 50, I've been 60 now, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So you see all of those phases of your life, and I was somebody that particularly like did not like my high school years at all. Like I had no desire to be 18 again, right? Friggin' loved my 40s. Loved my 40s. I could go back to do my 40s all over again, right? Yeah. But what I see in between from 40 to 60 and the things that worked and the things that didn't work, everything that came to fruition was like a declaration, and then I did the work. Like I hustled and I did the work. And
in your 40s?
It's, well, like from my mid-20s all the way. You know, I mean, I got my license at 18 years old, like legit, at 18 years old, and so I had a vision of who I wanted to be. At 18 years old, I remember I had a vision of how I saw myself at 30, 40, 50. And I'll be damned if like it didn't, I mean, there's things that I didn't see for myself. Like I didn't think I was going to be a single mom with 3 kids and handle all of that. But, I put 3 kids through private school and private college, and like I did that. And we did it together because they did their part too. You know what I mean? Like it was definitely like
but for
a
single mom to do that, I mean, like that's amazing.
I'm very proud of that. Like I'm very, very proud of that. And I'm also proud of the example that I've been, not just to my children, but to others and other women. You know what I mean? Especially like what you can do is limitless. It really is. Like it sounds cliche, but like, you can wait for somebody to give it to you. or you can go out and get it.
Get it yourself.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, and the
And it's more
satisfaction.
I was going to say, it's more fulfilling
absolutely.
when you go out. I tell my kids that like all the time, we can pay for this, we can pay for that. But when you can pay for something, when you go out there and buy your own brand new car,
yes,
or a used car, but you did it yourself, the satisfaction is so
absolutely, absolutely.
Right?
And then you don't. Well, I think like that starts the momentum of like how you propel yourself in your life inside of, because there's people, when you think about it, there's people who don't ever achieve dreams, and then there's people who play big ass games and achieve everything.
Right.
And you look at it, what's the difference? It's action.
Right. Take a risk.
It's action. Yeah, exactly.
And
absolutely.
failing, that's like moving forward. That's
absolutely.
winning.
Absolutely.
You win when you fail. Like people are like, oh, there's no failing in my schedule, this or that. But you have to fail to succeed.
Absolutely.
Because that's how you learn.
Well, like when you look at our industry, we both survived the housing recession, right? We like brutal friggin' time, like brutal time for us, right? And we're still here. We didn't, not like people do what you have to do, but I think it says something when you stayed in the industry through the ups and the downs.
Right.
You didn't just stay in it and come in it when like it was COVID and it was raining and you know what I mean?
Right.
And then
just
leave right out.
And
of course people leave because, if you didn't have a background and a history in it and you just came in it for the money. But to be 45 years doing the same thing and all the lives that I've had the opportunity, like I'm doing grandchildren's loans now. You know what I mean? And that's like,
and you've built businesses.
Yes, and it's awesome.
Businesses, whether it didn't work out or whatnot, whatever. But here you are today, like 44, almost 45 years later. And you know what gets me sometimes? Like, we're in a world of AI, right?
Yeah.
It's a world of AI. It's a world of Instagram, the TikTokers, and the whole thing, right? And you scroll throughout the day, like who's doing what, and this and that. And we do stuff, all day long.
Yeah.
Like it's important to have the social media, right?
Yes.
It's important, of course. You have to be present, exactly. But sometimes I hear like, oh, AI, your dinosaurs, and like whoever, started in whatever years, 20, 30 years ago, that's dinosaurs. And I disagree. We might be dinosaurs, but I think like George and I, my husband, I always say, if it all crashed today, we have the skills to sell without a machine, without AI, without Instagram, whatever. We have the skills to be able to close somebody without all this TikTok stuff and like all this social media stuff.
Absolutely.
And I just, I highly disagree with the Zillow, the whole, all that, because at the end of the day, I think right now, even with all this AI stuff going on, with all the social media stuff, if you don't have the skills, I don't think you're going to win. You have to have both. I think both is very important to have the Instagram, to have the, all the social media. I say the Instagram, but all that stuff. It is, yes, it's all great because we're doing it right now.
Right.
But I want to what message can you give to the young people out there starting in the real estate, in the mortgage industry, escrow and whatnot? In my opinion, you have to have both. A lot of people want to skip, like you said, the skill part of it, the learning, the, just the hard work of it. The gratification is just you see hi, whatever, I'm on social media and buy a house with me and doing the whole, the boobies are out, all that stuff, and they're doing the open house with the mini skirts, whatever. But at the end of the day, if there's nothing here, and a client comes in, and they came to you because of your post that you had, and then when they meet you, it's kind of a disappointment. Or what can you share with us a little bit about that?
One of the things that I mean, because you do hear it a lot, right? And there's a concern, do you age out of the business inside of your career? Does it age you out? Do you choose to exit it? But I'm proud to have all of the evidence of experience making a difference. And if you are specifically looking to enter into our industry, whether it be real estate sales or mortgages, specifically mortgages, what we do, it's not that it's hard. It's not that it's hard, but it's not easy because it's all self-generated. And yes, there's, I never really had a concern about AI. And now I have the evidence, just having gone through this whole year when AI is so present and becoming more prevalent. If you've never owned a house or paid a mortgage, well, one, you have to think about who you're advising. I think if you want to get in a business, jump yourself, jump in. right? Like, look at what does it look like for you to own a home? How could you make a $6,000 payment? You know what I mean? It's easy to sell a product, but we're talking about like the biggest purchase, whether you do the loan or the real estate, that most people will ever make in their life. And it's a privilege. It's a privilege, and taking it serious, like not just looking at it as a commission. And that's one of the things that aggravates me when I'm mentoring new people in this business, or they ask to be mentored, right? The very first thing is like, I want to make $150,000 a year. And yes, money is the motivator, but there's like lives attached to those dollars. You know what I mean? It's not, I guess in every job, somebody's life is attached to the outcome of the job, but inside of what we do, it's an opportunity to really transform. And especially when you primarily deal with Hispanic borrowers like we do, or like the majority of my clients through my career have been Hispanic, you know, we've really created some generational wealth for our clients. And that's something that like I consider my legacy. You know what I mean? So when you look at AI or a disconnect of providing a service, not just selling a rate, right? Like not just selling a product and not just getting paid, but like the real opportunity. Real estate is one of those few areas where it's not really an equal playing ground today, because a lot of people are like priced out of the market, but it's as close to an equal playing ground as where somebody can create wealth from very little investment. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yes, so, exactly. And so when you look at entering this industry from that standpoint, not just how much money can I make, but how much of a difference can I make for my community, for my family? You know what I mean? Like, how can I start with creating general wealth? I think looking at it from that standpoint and counseling and coaching your client, a borrower, a seller from that standpoint, gives you a career, in my opinion, worth having. You know what I mean? As opposed to entering the market when it's hot, exiting the market when it's not, entering the market, like, not to knock used car salesmen, but there's a reason they use that cliche. You know what I mean? Because that's the impact. And you know, I've mentored a lot of people. I've mentored one person that like I'm the most proud of, and Cynthia Soto. Like, I'm so proud of mentoring her because she's somebody who just listened, really listened, and did the work. And I've mentored a lot of people who's like, we want to be like you. And I'm like, I'm sure you do.
But you got to
work. Exactly. Yeah. But you know how much, like, I wasn't like me.
Right.
JR and I weren't like this when we started. Like, there was a lot of time and commitment and weekends without, you know what I mean, and working the weekends and working 7 days a week. And I've worked on every vacation I've ever taken my kids on. And they, you know.
And they know.
They know. Exactly. They grew up that way. Would it have been great if I didn't have to? Sure. But like the life that they got,
but it teaches
absolutely.
them too, like when they start their careers, whatever the career that is, like they know that's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that, you know, will AI replace that caring? No. And you know, like they're
one-to-one, like,
exactly.
one-on-one.
They're already showing, you're right, like they're already showing studies. Can you tell a client why that loan's better for them? You can quote a rate, a machine can quote a rate, but can it really coach you on why and what's its intention? Like, what's its intention, right? Because it's artificial intelligence. And you see that people, my experience has been that borrowers are comfortable researching up to a point. But after that, when it's coming to their dollars and their time, they want a human being on the other line. And on top of that, what if that human being actually knows what they're experiencing because they purchased a home, they've had a mortgage, they've been homeowners. If that's not the intention to operate from that place, then how can you really want to do this? And so, you know, the fast money, there will always be those that come in and out of the industry for that, but that's not a career. That's not a career.
I started, you know, in 1987. And Maria was one of my first mentors, right? And it's so funny because I always say this, like, she was like, it's people now, like, you know, the younger generation now cannot, you get sued for what, you know, like you like, oh my God, what, you know, do this now. And it was like handwritten approvals and you're like, I can't read this. We'll figure it out. You know, we grew up in a way of like, we have to figure it out. Like, we can't go ask every 5 minutes, or we can't, like, you know, chat GPT this or that. Like, so that's why, like, I'm glad I came into this business in that generation where like
Yes.
it was hard. And,
Yeah.
and you know, Century 21 All Stars, like they were hardcore.
Yeah.
It was like a clan of people, you know, like
Yeah.
they were coming up and coming and started from nothing, and you built something, you know. And now it's easier, but I think that it's great, you know, all of the social media, AI, all of it. But like you said, you can't take away that one-on-one.
Well, you know what's interesting is that, like, you have one of your daughters who work for you, right? Like I have one of my sons, or my son that works for me. And if you notice, from the time that we came up in this industry, there's a lot of family teams now, right? There's a lot of family teams. And so when you look at people who were doing it in the 90s and the early 2000s, the legacy has extended to their children.
Right.
Like, so this industry
Right now,
clearly has something worth having, right? But I think it's very interesting that the people who are most senior in the business, like you and I, are still very much the leaders, right, in the industry. Like, you're very much the forefront, because there's something to be gained. There is something to have about having to manually calculate something and know how to do it, to be able to do something before all of the technology, right? To have experienced home ownership, to have experience losing homes, right? Like, how can you really counsel a client from what it looks like or what it feels like if you haven't been through it? But when you can counsel a client from that standpoint, then they hear your commitment. Like, not only do I not want this for you, but that this is why I can advise you to go this way, you know? And it feels good. Like, it feels very, very good, you know? So it's satisfying. And so, dinosaur or no dinosaur, like, I'll take it all day long. You know what I mean?
Because you've been through, you've been the good, the bad, the ugly over again.
Absolutely.
And here we are. And
the experience is invaluable.
And I hear like some new loan officers, they want to do all the research and look at all the guidelines, and I'm going to study this, I'm going to study that. You can do all the studying in the world that you want, because it's a click of a button, right? And you just click, and like it's all there for you. But I keep going back to the skills, because if you don't have the skill to close, then it's gonna be a tough road for you, because you can get clients all day long because you're selling them, but when you bring them in and meet you, you better be ready to. I'm that, and I'm also this when you meet me, and I'm going to close you, and I'm going to guide you, and I'm going to give you knowledge, and you're going to be the coach, and you're going to be there for their feelings and all. You know what I mean? That's what we do.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm going to pick up the phone at 10 p.m. if I have to, at 5 a.m. if I have to. I'm going to get your notary there. Like, I think that's above and beyond. And like, my message to that to the newer generation is, you have to be all of that, you know, and you have the advantage because you have the AI, you have, you know, ChatGPT, you have all of that. It's just, that's a little, you know, like, it's a little extra for you, but just have the skill.
Absolutely. You know? and want to. Like, and want to have the skill, because it serves you. It serves you very, very well. It's easy to have a good season in this business. It's easy to have a good season. You'll find that you'll have more bad seasons than good seasons. I think the real goal is having consistent seasons, right? And that only comes through putting in the time and the effort, and not wanting to jump ship when things get hard. You know what I mean? Because
man, that's 3 years. I mean, it's at least for like for me, it's been like, but we're still here.
Right.
You know? It's been a challenge for sure, but it's a challenge that you get through, and you're getting through, and we're still here. And
you grow and develop through your own through the challenges as well, right? Because you learn how to pivot. You learn, you know, you look inward and say, okay, what is there for me to do? Like, I remember when we first embraced social media, you know, I was like, hell no. Like, I was like, absolutely not. I saw myself on a video, and I was just like, oh my, like, no, like, no, right? And then somebody told me, you know, it was probably the best advice I'd ever heard. He's like, you look how you look. Like, you look how you look, right?
You sound, you look how you look.
And I was like, well, yeah, like, I guess, right? And so,
and you're going to be judged for doing it, not doing it. Oh my God, do it.
And now today, you know, Gia would be like, you ready? Yep, I'm ready. Let's go. Like, let's do it right now.
I'm still like, let's do 5 more.
But you know what it is I'm also like more committed to the message, like delivering value, and then having fun. Like, for me, it's the lightheartedness. It's would I rather film all day long than put together 1003. Well, no, I'd love to put together 1003s, but not really. Like, I really don't want to do the work, right? And so just filming some, sure it does, you know, but I have a comfort level with it now. I appreciate it, but it's not like everything.
Right.
But embracing it and allowing it to be the valuable tool that it is, I think was the biggest transformation for me personally, like inside of social media itself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I was definitely last to the game in my group of friends and my people and everything, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be the next TikTok star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you have the,
but it's
but
fun.
you have the skills. You definitely have the skills.
You never know.
Yes, I love that.
Maybe that's my second act. We'll see.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, jumping into the questions again. Okay, so how do you balance ambition, self-care, while managing your responsibilities as a woman, entrepreneur, and a mother? Because you have a lot going on, and grandmother.
Yes.
Too.
You know, I gave so much of myself to everybody else for years, not really thinking about it. Just like, when you're a single mom, you do what you have to do, right? And so being a single parent, especially being 100% commission, like that in of itself, like that's the real pat on the back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and not to, all single parents, mothers or fathers, it's challenging, right? Like doing it all on your own. And then it's challenging when you have a high expectation of yourself. I have a very high expectation of myself. And so I learned at some point, actually it wasn't learned, it was by default. When the twins went to college, it was just me by myself, right? And then I was like, well, I knew when they were going to leave, when they got accepted, I looked forward, because I do that. I look forward, like into the next year, the next years. What do I want those years to look like? Because they're not just going to happen. Like it has to be by design.
Right.
So what do I want the next 2 years to look like? Well, I need to think about that today, because if I'm not working on it today, it's not going to show up 2 years from now. And so to just be by yourself for the first time in, I was 58, 57 when the twins went to Columbia, and like I saw it and I'm like, I'm either going to just cry all the time and get depressed, or I have to take something on in my life, right? And so that's when I took on a communication program and that was really transforming for me, and a management program. And I filled that time taking care of myself. And then when I really got present to what taking care of myself looked like for me, then I was more intentional instead of taking care of myself. And then I'm like, okay, I'm about to be 60.
Care of somebody all the
yeah,
time.
exactly. I'm about to be 60. What do I want from 60 to 70 look like, right? And this was, like, damn, like that was 4 years ago, going on 4 years ago, that 7 years ago, 6 years ago now or 7 years ago, when I was having those conversations about myself, like what will this time look like? And, I made a big move in my life this year, got married last year. Nothing I saw happening or coming, but it was inside of the self-care, ironically, it was inside of the self-care for myself and taking that time to myself that I met my husband.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it was like those
you were looking for it. It just happened.
It just happened. Exactly. It just happened. And so that, like, nobody's going to give it to you, I guess is the point. If you don't take the time for yourself, if you're not intentional about taking care of yourself, it's not going to happen. And well, you take great care of yourself, right? It's like, it's if we all get older.
It's doing the work,
we all get older.
Right.
We all get older, and appreciating that you get older and thinking about it and being mindful of today is the best gift you can give yourself. Honestly, it is the best gift you can give yourself, right? Because that's the one thing where, like they say, the damage is done. Undoing that damage is very challenging. The older that you get.
Older.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you have to keep it going.
Yes.
You got to keep it going.
Yes. 60s and you 40, baby.
Right? Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So what motivates you at your core when things get tough, right? Sometimes, like, we're going, and then you just kind of hit like a little, like,
my ego. My ego serves me in the best way, I think, and that is that I have one, right? I'm present to have one, so I know when it doesn't serve me, but I'm down for being the best. And so you can't be a crybaby. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it sucks when things are hard. It sucks when it didn't go the way you did. but I am not a crybaby.
You've always
I'm a
been
screamer, but you know what I mean?
You've always been the put your big girl panties on.
Exactly,
type of
put your
person.
big girl panties on
Cry
and
real
handle
quick, put your-
shit.
then let's go.
Absolutely. And I'm not, and that is my drive. And I don't know where that comes from. It probably comes from my Puerto Rican background, my Mexican background, my parents, my grandmothers. Like, I think, you know, when they say it takes a village, I'm a component of all of my ancestors, because I'm not the only one. Like, my siblings are driven, but I want to be the best, and I don't want to be last. And I chase a carrot. Now my carrot is time and peace. I don't have necessarily the same, like, I have the same hunger, but I don't get taken out if I didn't hit that number this month, like it used to take me out. But I strive for it, and I play that game every month. But I definitely have more balance in my life than I did when I was in my 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Right.
You know what I
It's
mean?
more like you're like you said, you're more at peace with who you are, and more
well,
centered.
because I was like, because I'm not doing this forever, but what's awesome is I get to choose,
right,
like how long I do this, right? And
but I've also seen, like, you choose to work with who you want. Like, I think at our career now, like where we're at today, like we get to choose who we want to team up with. Because back in the day was, you know, we work for the realtors and you work for me. Well, now it's a team. We all need each other. You know what I mean? But we get to choose that at a certain point.
Absolutely. And you know, I would say that was the first pivotal point in my career, was probably about 10 years ago when I was like, I get to choose, and I don't have to work with anybody. And if we're not a fit,
and it feels good.
Yeah, if we're not a fit, it's okay. Like, it's totally okay if we're not a fit. And not being attached. And I am so committed, but so detached. I am not attached at all. I'm 100% committed, but I'm not attached. And having that emotional detachment has been the best management for my well-being in my career. You know
and
what
I've
I mean?
learned that from you. Like, I've learned, like, it's okay. Like, if it's not a fit, it's okay, and we can move on. Like, hey, you know, I wish you the best of luck, and you know,
absolutely.
And I've learned to, like, I didn't lose it. You know, I wish you the best of luck, but I'm here if you need me, and then they come back.
Yes.
You know, you already know they're gonna come back because they're not gonna find anybody better out there.
Absolutely. I love that. And also, like, just appreciating that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and they're not going to be yours. You know what I mean? And not having to be liked by everyone, like personal, professional self-respect. Absolutely.
And being okay with that.
Yes.
I've like, I just turned 49, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea, you know. And I sometimes I post, like, there's people looking at your Instagram like, you know, you don't care, like, you're posting because you don't care, you know, or unfollow or do whatever you gotta do, but as you get older, you don't care. Like, this is what I do. Because we can work together. If it's a fit, it's not whatnot. You know, it is what it is. But
and you can't sweat that stuff. I think that's the grace that God gives us in aging, is that you have the opportunity to really be with what's important and let go what's not. You know what I mean? Because I promise you, like, when you move forward in life, those are not the things that you focus on. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. Exactly. So, can you share a time when it could be a personal or professional setback led you to unexpected growth or healing?
Gosh. Oh my God, I can't think of one. I mean, all my personal and professional setbacks led to growth and healing. You know, my first major professional setback was during the market crash. In 08. And in 08, And I think from 08 to 2011, I really learned who I was. I learned how strong I am. And I think that time probably built the most confidence in me going into the next decade of my life, because it wasn't just surviving through that, it was remaining, like, how much I learned, literally. And what I was able to bring to the table as a loan officer, as a mortgage originator, post that, when counseling clients, that's when my loan origination career really exploded. I always did very, very well, but that time made me present to what that experience looked like for other people, and then it just made me that much better of a financial advisor. you know? And so now I was counseling somebody earlier today on a refinance, and I'm like, yes, we can do this, but like, I don't want that for you. That's not the smarter financial move. And they're like early 30s, and what was so nice was they heard me. Like, they heard me, they thanked me, they appreciated, they took the advice, and they heard my commitment to them. I wasn't like, they could have done nothing and I would have been okay with it if they said, we don't want to do anything. But I bring my commitment to the outcome for my client to every conversation. And I feel heard by every client because I can hear that they get my commitment. And that is,
and you care.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege, and it's an honor. It's not something I take for granted, because I get that they can go any other place to get this. Like, I am not the only originator on the block, right? Although I believe I should get every loan. But you know what I mean? But that's, so, you know, you can tell that my career, my profession is very much a part of who I am. And my professional and my personal are very much tied together. You know what I mean? It's like my kids were raised inside of a real estate office and a mortgage office. It's very ingrained in what I do, but I don't resent it. Like, I'm super, super grateful for it.
I love that for you. I love it. I love it. All right. So describe a breakthrough moment when everything shifted for you and what helped you realign. And it's kind of, I think it just goes back to what you just said.
Yeah.
You know,
that
was your breakthrough.
That was it. And, you know, there was a lot along the way, but I went through a divorce inside of there. I, you know, had twins, go to high school and then college at the same time, turning 50, like all of those life-changing moments. I took every one of them as a lesson. Like, I don't want that to happen again, so I'm not doing that, right? I would need more of this. And I started becoming very intentional about what I want my life, like really took responsibility about what do I want my future to look like, because I was like, Prince Charming isn't showing up. Like, it's on you, right? And getting that and not resenting it, but embracing it was the best thing I ever did for myself.
And just loving who you are and becoming who you are.
Absolutely.
And in that, like, I know we've had conversations before, and like there was a point in your life, like going back to the self-care, right? Like there was conversations that we had where like there was something that just kind of sparked, and you're like, you know, I want to look a certain way and like care for myself in a certain way, because I think sometimes you're just so busy with like life, the kids, the grandkids, this, that, you know, all of this that's happening, and then you finally like, okay, like, you know, when the twins left, like you're left not alone, but you know, but you're like in your space by yourself, and like having to spend that time with yourself.
Absolutely.
You know? Like,
and being comfortable.
What does that even look like?
Yeah, being comfortable in your own skin, being responsible for what you say that you want. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to have a super vibrant life into your 80s, well, you better think like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't start at 75, you know what I mean? It's like, that's the reality. And not being freaked out about aging, but embracing it and being responsible for my well-being and what I want my future to look like. You know what I mean? And that was when it got quiet and there was nobody to take care of, there was no more excuses either. Because it was always like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I have to go do this. And all of that was true, right? So it was easy to put myself to the side. But once that was gone, right, and they never go away. Like, your kids, like, they always need you, right? But it's different for them being in the house like all day long, and you know, like you're making lunches and driving people to school and doing all of that. When all of that was gone and it was quiet and it was just me with me, I had to really get responsible for like what I wanted my life to look like, what I wanted to look like, how comfortable was I going to feel about, you know, like what actions were I going to take. And it was a process. It wasn't like an overnight thing, but it was a process, and seeing that and being and really holding myself accountable for what I say that I want. And little by little, you know, like little by little, it was a continued transformation. And I love that I love my 60s now. You know what I mean? Like, I love my 60s like I loved my 40s. You know what I mean? My 50s were hell because I was raising 2 twin daughters, you know what I mean? And that was just like crazy. But
like, got through it.
Now I have these beautiful grandchildren, and I love them, and they're fun, and we get to hang out, and like I have real relationships with my daughter-in-law, my son, all my kids. I'm traveling. My husband and I are traveling, and like that is.
You live in Mexico now.
Yes, I live in Mexico,
Yes.
which most people don't know.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? It's like, and not because it matters. Like they shouldn't
You
know.
created
It's
all
just
this.
that
Yes.
because I'm like the first time I ever went to Rome, I'll never forget. It was the twins' graduation present, and we were in Rome, and it was midnight, and I was working because of the time difference. And I remember, like, with that, just being in this 600-year-old building and hearing all the wine bottles outside and everything, I remember I was like, this is what I want my life to look like. I don't want to have to be in one particular place to work, and I don't want to have to give up vacations, and I want to see the world, but I still need to earn money, right, and make an income, and this is what I want. And it was what I was committed to, and it's what I created, and I've done, been in the middle of the sea doing loans, and clients had no idea where I was, right? And it didn't matter, and it doesn't matter.
We've always been working,
exactly.
no matter what. If you're always working, it doesn't matter from where.
And I love that I don't have to give anything up. Did my kids give something up? I mean, yes, because, it's like, I can imagine it would be so nice to have just everybody be fully present all of the time, but that's what my life looked like, and I have no regrets. You know what I mean? It's like, they got what they got, they didn't get what they didn't get, and they continue to
and they're living a
enjoy
great
the benefits.
life. Yeah,
yes. And I know
life.
that I was a great example to them. You know what I mean? And that
That's
I think
awesome.
is the most important.
Yeah, nice. I love that. And in closing, I want to share a little bit with everybody, like, our relationship, how it's evolved, throughout the years. We've been through a little, craziness back in the day. And, and in knowing you for almost 30 years, like, I really admire, like, the woman that you are, and in having a falling out, how, being strong women, and there's a lot of strong women out there, and sending the message to women out there that, we were just having this conversation a couple of days ago for my birthday, and sharing, we either gonna move on from this or we're not. You know what I mean? Like, there's always like a little bit of that, and we've had our like Thrive events, we've had our women's event and all that, and just in sharing all that, like, there's been a lot of growth with us in that.
Absolutely.
And I think that's brought us closer. And even though we see each other, I don't know, a few times a year now,
right?
But still, like, I know that I can pick up the phone and you're there for me.
Absolutely.
And vice versa. If you call me at any time, I can get on that plane and be there for you. And no matter what happens, and it's having conversations, and having conversations like we are right now, and in sharing your knowledge and your wisdom to women out there.
I think our relationship is a true testament of lifting another woman up. You know what I mean? And when we got past our breakdown, not only did we get past our breakdown, but like, we really transformed our friendship, right? And you're family to me. Like, you're like, we're way past just friends, right? Like, we're family. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm proud, and I like sharing our story, because I want to say to women, specifically to women, not only be kind to each other, but it is not a competition. Everybody can win, and somebody else's, it's so cliche, don't like somebody else's light. No, it's true. Somebody bright shines bright, that doesn't dim your light. Conversely, like, you friggin' shine right next to them. And it's annoying. Like, it's annoying how women are so, like, just that petty cattiness. And it's a shame, because we are amazing. We are fucking amazing, simply put. And to try to have somebody else, or feel intimidated because somebody else is shining, like, no, get curious. Like, what is she doing? Like, I want some of that. Like, that, you know what I mean? And then be that to another woman.
Or
like,
share,
be
hey,
that.
Can I share this? You know how you can do this better? You know what I mean?
Like, be that to somebody else. Like, be there and, like, hold up under them. Because it's a gift. It's a gift, and it's a blessing. And it's an honor to be able to partner with somebody in whatever transformation or contribution you can be in their life. Right? Paige has been that for us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Paige
I'm like
amazing.
so grateful for her.
Paige is our pastor.
Really, like, an amazing example.
sisterhood.
Yes, and the importance of it, and what it looks like when another woman embraces you and takes you in that way. It's like not taking responsibility, but in essence, yeah, taking responsibility for partnering with a woman in any era of her life where she's willing to allow you to, right? And so, for me, that's just really important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm a girl's girl, and while I don't have a lot of girlfriends,
Right.
you know what I
But
mean?
being a
I love to
cheerleader,
see
yeah.
women win.
Me too. Yeah.
And that's really the takeaway, is that
Yeah.
I love to see women win.
And let's go back to that, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's like you want everybody to win. There's no envy. There's none of that stuff.
Yes.
I just want you to win and be like, I love that you're doing, that for your business. And how can I contribute to that? For my birthday on Saturday, like it was 12 of us, and it was so great. Like she does this and she does that, and they do this just in case, like you can like partner up with her, and it did happen because you're just
That's
like
awesome.
you just brought them together. And today I had a call like, hey, what was the girl's name that was sitting next to me? Okay, but what does she look like? And it was like they're connecting, and other women can be like, well, why? Or why what are they doing behind your back?
Yeah.
No, like let them grow together, let them win together. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
I love all that.
Yes,
Yeah.
like TV is not a reality show. I mean,
No.
life should not be like a reality show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, bring the love.
Bring the love.
Bring
exactly.
the love.
Let's bring the love
Absolutely.
back, the caring. There is no competition because you're in competition with yourself. I just feel like I just need to win.
And if you're a younger woman out there, like look to older women, well, not older women, but like
mature women.
women who've had the experiences, exactly.
Yes. We've been
But
through
literally,
it all. Yes.
absolutely, like reach out and look out and seek that out as well. You know what I mean? Like don't wait for it to come to you, because that can make a huge difference in your life too. You have young daughters, right? I do. And it's just like, and you want to be able to be that contribution to them, but you also need to be responsible for seeking that out as well, and creating those relationships, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I love that. Thank you so much for
Absolutely,
being
honey.
here,
My
for
pleasure.
doing this with me, and for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, your experiences,
Thank you.
your ups, downs, your wins, your big wins, and congratulations to all of your success. I love everything that you're going through, and your move, your courage to just get up and go to create the life that you desire.
Yeah.
Everything we've been through, the last 6 years now, is like I've seen you evolve. And like she said, if you have any questions for Kim, reach out to her, and reach out to me, reach out to
Absolutely.
like she said, like we're here, and we're here to just to lead and to grow and to keep learning as we go.
And contribute.
So, yes,
You're up, and
contribute.
however we
Most
can
importantly.
contribute.
So
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, honey.
you,
Thank
honey.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.